Okay, what's up, guys? This is Mark from DSGD, and if you see the title or the thumbnail, you know who we're talking to. But I think introduce yourself, and then I'll go into it. Who are you? Where are you from? What's your name?
All right. Yeah. So, hey, Mark, thank you for having me on your channel, actually for the first time, I think, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think we ever did this interview. My name is Kfir, and I'm from the near of Tel Aviv. I live 15 minutes from Tel Aviv in Israel, which is currently in complete quarantine, which fits this format of us anyway talking through, doing this Skype call and recording it, which we would anyway do regardless to everything that is going around in the world, if we would do an interview on any other day. So for us, it's like business as usual, other than me having to be at home and having dog treats in my hand every time to feed my dog so it wouldn't ruin the interview. So yeah, I'm a co-founder, and today I lead the software company called DSM Tool that has the software DSM Tool that has been introduced in your channel once or twice.
Yeah, so we'll get into it, right? So I built this software called DSGD, and I don't sell it anymore, and we could talk about that in the interview. And I think I made a video when eBay changed their thing with the automation. Like any good marketer, I use that opportunity to talk shit about DSM Tool and not SKU Grid, but what's the other one? Sales Freak and all that shit. And I think that I am happy that we could have this conversation and have this interview, and I hope that we could have more in the future because a lot of people watching this. So I remember I used to do videos like "fuck Zeke Analytics." That was the title, right? But people are entertained to a certain extent by my madness, and me selling a software and competing. It's business. So if I'm selling fucking software and I'm providing a service, I want you to buy my fucking software and I'll outline the advantages and disadvantages and all the bullshit. But I think it's interesting that we could come to this point and have a call and talk about business, talk about dropshipping, talk about the madness that we're going through now, and not just and understanding that we are both entrepreneurs and it's not the hype bullshit on the internet, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, everyone that is watching your channel are trying to become online entrepreneurs, trying to build their e-commerce business. And and this maybe could be a lesson for them in terms of attachment to their own business and attachment to their business activity. What you need to be attached to is your family, is your loved ones, is your children if you have them. These are things that you don't fuck with. I hope that I'm allowed to swear on your channel.
No,
finally.
fuck it. Come on.
Yeah. So these are the people that you should be attached to. Businesses, if you think that that DSM Tool as is today, the software, the people in the company, everything is going to be the same in 10 years or in 20 years, I don't know. But currently, both you and I are working in the same industry. Everyone that are watching this channel are part of the same industry. And you know what? We're actually all dependent on each other this way or another, whether we're competitors or we work together. So one day we're competitors, another day we work together. Plus, you have an awesome channel. I always wanted to. I wanted to take part in the dropship house. I was following it, and I was like, I just want to. This looks fun, you know.
Yeah. That's interesting. And yeah, guys, so I think that's the first, as you said, that's the first lesson because I have had a job for 14 years, right? The one constant is my family, and the one constant is I'm an entrepreneur. But we live in this weird world that personal branding, you could build a business on a personal brand, and personal brands or brands compete. Like if Nike and Reebok compete all the time, right? But no one loses a shit. So yeah, first, just thank you for being on the channel. When we started to talk on Instagram, so let me say something. The one fucking video, I told you this yesterday, the one fucking video that has a copyright strike was a video I talked shit about DSM tools. And I don't know who reported it, but I think it's funny that like we have this conversation now because like I remember getting the strike and I was like, what the fuck? Like,
What do you say? Do you think that I reported it?
no, the thing is, I don't know and I don't care. That's the thing. Like, I'm not like, I'm just like, what the fuck was like, I didn't know I could be reported for so whatever the fuck I said.
Today it doesn't matter. It's only for the gossip matters.
Right,
Do you think that I reported it or not? What do you think?
Now that you're asking me, yeah.
Oh man, the entire DSM Tool team reported it. It's business.
Thank. Really? That
For
is
sure. Yeah.
And I think it is fucking cool that the entire DSM tools watch the video, right? Because I do this stuff like we sit at home and work. So how old are you? How old are you?
I celebrated my 30 years old in quarantine last week.
Okay, happy belated birthday, right?
Thank you, man.
So I'm 37. So I am a little older than a lot of the typical internet marketers, right? Like
I have the statistics of the audience of DSM Tool, and you're at the top edge. Let's put it
right. So a lot of this stuff, so I curse and I get angry, and the anger might last 10, 15 minutes. But when I end, I don't lose sleep off a lot of stuff. But it's interesting that we can have these conversations and get a little deeper because, like, when we're talking about, when you mentioned the dropship house, I try to do everything, not just like an internet connection and an email and you make money. I try to like push the limits of like personal connections, good, bad, fights, whatever. I could give a fuck, right? Like, but we're all human, and the internet connects all of us. But I think that we take for granted the effect and how much it connects all of us. So to know that you and your team all reported the video makes me smile, and I would talk about that tonight because it just reminds us that like we affect each other all over the world in like a real way, right? And not just like,
and we are dependent on each other.
Yeah.
Within the industry, for sure.
So let me, before I forget, like my video and subscribe to my channel. Hopefully we can have more videos regularly because I think the conversations that we have would be interesting. And
I'll try to bring value to the table.
So, okay, and I mean, we both build software in this dropshipping space. We both seen a lot more statistics than most other humans in dropshipping. So I think it would be difficult not to provide value to the guys watching this, right?
I also like to talk about business sides in terms of, in my background, I went to study, I studied in university business and entrepreneurship, and most of the things that we learned about were how to start ventures, which are then meant to raise capital from venture capitals, which is a direction that I chose not to go through. Like, we didn't raise any capital.
We need to talk about that because that is something I am exactly the same.
I just read news about a friend of mine that I met in school that his company today announced that they raised $58 million. So there is a lot of things that are in my business connections world. I'm also today a member of an organization called EO, which is the Entrepreneurs Organization, which every single member of that organization owns a company, runs a company that makes at least $1 million a year. And they're all like managing teams, and we're all discussing businesses. So it goes further than just the value that you can bring from your knowledge in digital marketing and specifically in dropshipping. It comes down to actually having a business. You have an agency that is running from Nicaragua. Like, this is what I hope people are looking forward to build, because starting dropshipping, which is what what the journey that we take people from in DSM Tool is, like just the first steps. But after you do the first steps, comes the next steps. And at some point, you want to own, a business that is being run and that is growing as much as you can.
So tell me, give me some, before we get into exactly what DSM Tools is, like the features and stuff, give me some background on when did you guys start? What made you get into it? I know you're from Israel. I know there are a lot of guys, a lot of top dropshippers from Israel. Tell me a story. Tell me your story and the DSM Tool story.
All right. So back when I was still a student, let's start. I started hustling and making money in whatever way that I could since I was 17. And that's 13 years ago. And DSM Tool is not my first business, but it's my first venture that actually skyrockets and gets to, at the peak, we were 35 team members. And I was the CEO of the company, But the story of specifically, I won't talk about all of my hustle experiences because that is a little bit less interesting. But the story with dropshipping started while I was a student, and my brother, who's also my business partner, started doing eBay dropshipping.
So
and
first,
he was
how old is he? Is he older or younger than you are?
He's 38 today.
Okay, sweet. Today?
No, not today.
Okay.
He's 8 years older than me.
Okay.
Anyway, he started doing eBay dropshipping. He was back then working for a software company. He's a software developer. He later on started leading the development side of the company. I'm doing the business side and the marketing and everything that is doing interviews like this, or you know what I mean. He started doing eBay dropshipping.
If you guys want to check out DSM Tools, I'll put a link in the description. And I know you like, how the fuck is Mark putting a link to DSM Tools, but we'll get into all that. Go ahead.
All right. And he started doing eBay dropshipping, and when like the software that he was using, it was like working with it's like working today with a Windows 95 version on your computer. I don't know even where, like, even simple things like I sold a product on eBay and now I want to process the order and I want to like mark the status of the orders. Did I order it already or didn't I order it already? Which today is being taken for granted. It didn't exist. And he got me into it, and I tried a little bit of eBay dropshipping myself, and I was like, yeah, it's nice, but I'm not working with platforms that look like Windows 95. I'm sorry, it's not for me. But this sound, when you start selling online, then you get a notification on your phone and you hear this cha-ching that you made a sale. And like as a student, as a hustler in your roots as a hustler, it's just addictive. And he decided to hire a outsourced developer in Ukraine, which later became our head of development in Ukraine. We still have until today development in Ukraine. We had there at some point quite a big office. Today it's a little bit smaller, and anyway, and everyone works from home today, so it doesn't matter. But and he got me, like, when he started talking about the software and he showed me the first thing that happened there, I said, listen, this looks amazing, but he developed it for us to use it on our stores. But he said, let me also create like a user management part to it, so we could give other people access to the platform and they could subscribe and pay. And we knew like a small dropshipping community, and we talked about it there, and we posted the link. We said, yeah, let's do a little bit money on the side from. Anyway, long story short, people went crazy on it, and very, very quickly we grew. We grew up all the way to 1 million visits per month within a year and a half. We had 1 million visits per month on our platform. And that was in 2016, 2017, when eBay dropshipping between Amazon and eBay was skyrocketing. People would source.
And you all started in 2015?
October 2015, we started talking about everything, and we launched the software in July 2017.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, we in 2020.
How close to DS Genie? When did you do DS Genie? When was it? When did it happen?
It was a little. So I was drop shipping on eBay myself, this is a long time ago. I have to think about where I was living at the time.
Uh-huh.
So this had to be 2011, 2012. So I was manually drop shipping. You didn't need price changes. You could, if a price went up or went out of stock, you could just refund the money and no problem. And then
was it on eBay?
on eBay. And then I remember that eBay sent out a message saying that the next update is going to have the seller standard, and if you cancel or refund, it will hurt your seller standard. So you can't just list anything and refund if it's too expensive. And then
it's important that people would know that because it changed so dramatically since then, and so many things in e-commerce changed. It's not
it changed that year. Everyone, so I was part of this thing called DS Domination and all these groups on Facebook, and then everyone was like, "Nah, eBay can't do that. They're gonna screw up all our businesses." And I was like, I am like feeding my family, not my family at the time, feeding my party habits after getting divorced the first time, and like I was like, guys, eBay sent this email, and everyone didn't believe it, and I'm like. I could get obsessed and lose sleep. So I asked one of my friends to like just create a script. I was just selling from Walmart to eBay at the time, 100%. And Walmart's API was pretty like open. So I just like told him, like, dude, Kwesi, who was my business partner at the time, he's been business partner for a long time, but we're not anymore. But he created.
Those who are, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, all he did was create a script that would use the Walmart API. I created a separate email, so send me an email when a price changes. I would have an employee here in Nicaragua manually change my prices up and down, and at night I would sleep with fucking headphones on, and if I got an email, it said ding, I would wake up out of my fucking sleep and change the price and go back to sleep. I can't do that now. I'm a lot older, but I did that for 6 months.
For those that don't have any experience in product development and in coding or anything of that sort, what Mark has just said is that he did everything that today is automated completely manually, everything that took a lot of work. But you know why it was worth it? Because back then the opportunity that was on eBay in terms of like the product that you sourced, the profit margin that you had, everything was just worth it. Today, starting a business like what you're talking about just doesn't worth it anymore if you don't, use specific methodologies, specific softwares that will do the specific things that you need to automate. Otherwise, it doesn't worth it. And this is exactly what led us to go into the business of building software at all. By the way, the software is not only for eBay. We also have integration to Shopify, and today we're building more services that are surrounding the like what it means to do dropshipping on Shopify and to source products for Shopify stores, the same way that you started from that, and today you expanded and you have now inventory on Amazon, and you have like multiple, you have income from your YouTube channel. You're creating multiple income channels. I'm talking about it with DSM Tool, like new registrations. When people like register for the first time, these are the first things that I'm telling them. I'm like, dude, look, you're or lady, dude or lady, you should start with eBay dropshipping because it's super simple to get started with it. You need it's low risk. You don't need budget. It has a lot of cons to it, but these pros are a really good reason to get started if you have no experience at all in e-commerce and you don't have money to risk, and your options are either I'm taking a loan and going into higher risk, or I'm starting to learn slowly e-commerce and dropshipping in general, and I will slowly build my business. And then immediately, as soon as possible, you start creating other channels of income, like a man, like a business person, like someone who is building his life and not is building his eBay store. This is just one of the tools. Like my company is using, I don't know, we're using dozens of different tools to do business.
But I think, okay, so this is the fear that I have, right? So as a business person, as an entrepreneur, whatever the fuck you want to call it, you see opportunity, you take advantage of it, and then you see other opportunity and you build businesses around it, right? My fear, because eBay dropshipping and Amazon dropshipping, not Shopify, eBay and Amazon, are so relatively simple, there are not a lot of moving parts. A lot of people, I get it, and because of how it is marketed, a lot of people who get into these business models don't have the tools or aren't prepared to build a bigger business that has more moving parts, more responsibility, manage employees, do marketing, manage ad spend, because and why I say it worries me is because before the situation we were in now, I think a lot of people could have gotten away with just doing eBay dropshipping or Amazon dropshipping and not understanding the principles by which they are being successful. But with the situation we live in now, everyone is at home, a lot of people losing their jobs, a lot of people might be forced to become entrepreneurs. My hope is that a lot of those people that didn't have the skills and weren't prepared before, and all the bullshit on the internet that made people think you could just click some buttons and make a lot of money, my hope is that people wouldn't get frustrated and give up, but they would take it, they would understand the position they're in and put in the work. Because this is the thing, right? I hate traffic. So even if I have to sit at home and work, I remember I used to work 12 hours a day on my eBay business when I first started. And I'm talking about like 12 hours to list 20 items manually, right? I'm talking about like I'm on a hunt manually going page by page on eBay, finding top selling items with no software. Because I had no choice. And I hope that a lot of you guys watching this who might be in a good or bad situation, whatever it is, you understand that like with all the stress and all the changes, there's still amazing opportunity. You can still make money from home with your kids, with your family at home. It might take some work, but you are at home. You're not facing traffic. So, and I value the fact that I get to make money at home. And I used to travel and wake up hungover and do all this crazy shit. Now I have like a kid and all this stuff. But yeah, like I think my hope is that more people can look at this outside of the hype and understand it. Like, just sit down, work, and you could actually fucking make money in eBay dropshipping, in Shopify dropshipping, in Amazon dropshipping, in a lot of different businesses.
In business.
Yeah,
that's what it is. Because it's business. This is the point. I have two things to say about what you said. First, I told you that I went to entrepreneurship school. How many people in my class you think that reached the point where they raise $58 million like the friend that I told you about a couple of minutes ago? One. How many people reached having a business at all, running a business, having a team? I am one of the only ones, and my business is not a huge monstrous. It's like we're 10 people today. It's not like we're talking about, but still I own a business. I probably make more money than I would make if I wouldn't own a business today. I do dropshipping. I go on interviews in channels like this or on these kind of conversations. I've developed my professional life around this industry and around this business, allowing me to continue and grow. Because people that are listening to this channel, the advertisement that jumped right before this video started, if there are advertisements on your channel, is talking about like the stage where you make millions of dollars and come and build like blueprints to make the best, like whatever. Where effectively, if you don't have the experience, that's all a nice to have and a good dream. And okay, let's get there in 10 years, all right? Right now, when you're just starting, when you have no experience in e-commerce, when you don't understand how trends are working, I published a week ago an article that talks about the current trends that has changed dramatically in March and April 2020.
I'll put a link to that. I'll put a link to that blog, by the way. So, guys, if you want to read the blog he's talking about, I'll put the link in the description. But go ahead, sorry.
Thank you. Yeah, and in that blog article, I'm writing, I'm showing a live feed from Google Analytics where you see this peak going of like how people are searching it. And if you're not familiar with like understanding trends in e-commerce in retail markets, if you don't understand things like what is even the difference between eBay and Amazon as a company, as a product, as a marketplace, what is the audience that is on each one of those platforms, what is you when you're doing your first steps into an industry, especially in the industry like ours, you have to learn it step by step.
Right.
That was the one thing that I wanted to tell you, and the second thing that I wanted to tell you is that like this is why this is why I think that it's important for people to watch, not only watch content like this, but also like put a goal for themselves that is a feasible goal. Like if you're watching this video and you haven't made your first sale in e-commerce, then that's your goal. Your goal is not to have your own Ferrari. Your goal is to make the first action today. You know how many people that register to DSM Tool make their first sale? Only 20% of the people that register to DSM Tool reach their first. You know why? Not because it's so hard to make sales, because 80% of the people don't even list the first
They don't do
item.
shit.
They register and they don't take an action. And then what is your expectation if you're watching and looking and you're not actually trying things? And it's like you can do it for free. We give it for free to do it, and they're still not taking action. Like this is what I'm.
I remember having this conversation with Kwesi back in the day, right? My business partner, Diashini. We were like in the pool, like talking. We would live together, so we talking every day about software, right? And my fucking naive mind was like, dude, if we create a system that people can just automatically do it every day, 100% of our users. I literally thought that 100% of users would just do the work. Because like me coming from doing all this fucked up training and doing all this manual stuff, and then you just clicking a button and you could pull the listings and list it. I was like, I honestly believe that 100% of our users would be successful. At least sell a couple items, right? Because I compared the hell I went through going through pages and checking sales and downloading images, changing the name, uploading it, the whole thing to this partially automated process. And then you're right, it might have been like 20 or 30%. It was a very low percentage. And I would like be messaging people on Facebook like what's the
going
problem?
on, guys?
Why are you not making sales? What's the problem? And like it was mind blowing that people like they would spend money, not do anything, like think something would happen.
Let me tell you something that isn't politically correct, all right? Probably by tomorrow morning, the world is not going to go into equality. Probably rich people are going to stay rich people and poor people are going to stay poor people. It's hard for me because I grew up in a relatively poor area of the country. I'm not coming from a rich family myself. And I understand that like, you know, I can't fix the world by what I'm doing, but I can definitely affect me and my surroundings and my family and my loved ones. And you know what? I think it's a matter of choice, because you need to wake up in the morning and you need to choose that. I choose that every morning. I still have to provide. Tomorrow morning, DSM Tool might not exist. Maybe you won't accept me to any more interviews on your channel because I'm cursing too much. I don't know.
Yeah.
I will still have to find ways to create income, and preferably from as many channels as possible, and not only from having a 9-to-5 job. Even if I have to tomorrow morning close my business, go to find a job, a 9-to-5, it happened to the biggest CEOs, and I'm not such a big CEO. So even if I have to do that, I would still continuously look for ways to create assets, to create income, to make myself more professional, to understand business better, to be on the side of the population in the world that is stepping towards being rich, because these are the options that we have on the table. Because either you choose to do that or you're at higher risk to go down and
Yeah, it's a
be
choice.
less.
And
Look how many people lost their jobs these days.
and the sad thing is, I think what's happening now, the rich people are going to get a lot richer, and a lot of poor people are going to get a lot poorer. And there are some poor people that are going to get enormously rich right now from waking up every day and looking for opportunity and working. Right?
Yeah,
So you're right.
but
It's a
look,
choice.
listen, Mark. The people that are rich are going to get more rich. The people that are poor are going to get more poor. I agree with all of that. But the person that is right now watching this video, the two people that are speaking in that video, which is you and me, we tomorrow have two options. Either tomorrow we are one step further, or tomorrow we are not moving backwards. And the choice must be to move further. It's the only way. It's the only way that I know, and I'm sharing from my experience. And today I'm in a situation where I own a company, I own a team. The team is like progressing. We're doing business. Everyone, we're trying to survive this pandemic as well. But this is the choice that you have to make
And
as
how
an
long?
entrepreneur.
So let's talk about, I don't know if we'll get into the features of DSM Tools in this video. I'll put a link to DSM Tools channel so you guys can see some of the video, and we'll do another video. But I want to a couple of things. How long did it take from beginning to end to create a product that you could have sold? That's one. And why? So let's answer that question first. I have two other questions.
All right. So I'll tell you what, I want to refer people who are interested in software development to learn about the term that is called product market fit, which is a term that I've learned after creating DSM Tool and not prior to creating DSM Tool. I was aware of it, but the DSM Tool was not planned this way.
Yeah, it didn't mean anything at the time.
DSM Tool was hitting the exact pain point in the market that we didn't expect that it happened, and it went completely viral, and we had a lot of luck doing that. But if you are today considering building your own product, then what you should consider is what's so-called product market fit, which is an analysis that you do to the market in order to understand like its size and all kind of parameters that you can measure, and you can actually do an analysis. You can open an Excel sheet and write everything and learn about it. And then what you do is you build a product that is trying to solve any of the problems that this market has, and you build it so small. It's called MVP, minimum viable product. You build an MVP, the smallest piece of software that you can with the lowest investment that you can, and you release it, even if you release it for free, just for people to test it, to give you feedback. And from there, you take it step by step by step. It took us about 7 months to develop the first MVP of DSM Tool, and when we released it, it went, as you know, much more viral than we expected. The product market fit was amazing. But today, when I consider new projects, when I consider new developments that we're doing, new services that we're developing, basically anything that we're trying to do, we put a lot of effort in trying to understand how do we fit the product to the actual needs of the market that we're trying to address.
So that's interesting. And what you said kind of takes me to the next question I was about to ask you, right? So why not? So you build the minimum product with you and your brother, the MVP, got it out in 7 months, and you reinvested and built the business that way. I did the same thing with Yashini. I didn't want to raise money. I didn't want to borrow money. Why didn't you go the route of raising money? Because in the software game, so I'll explain why, right? And I'll even compare it to another software. I hope you don't mind me talking about other software in our space, but because I remember looking at what's the name of that fucking software?
You're talking about PriceYak, probably.
No. Oh, that's a whole other story. I knew those guys, but what's the fuck? A big fucking software. The lowest price might be $250 a month or $200 a month.
For what? What kind of software?
It's eBay dropshipping.
Salesforce?
Salesforce. Mm-hmm. Building software requires a lot of labor, professional labor, research and development, the formal way of putting it, right? And when I looked at Salesforce and how much development went into it, I was skeptical about the money and time invested to get to that point and the longevity or the exit, right? So us building these businesses, we could serve a specific, we could solve a specific problem, we make cash flow, we can reinvest and build a business. A lot of people get a big investment, get investors, sell equity, all the shit, and try to like exit at the end of it, right? Why, for Diashini personally, I was concerned, I didn't think I could sell Diashini at the end of it. So I always built solutions to specific problems so that the cash flow will be more than the expense instead of like just going, raising all this money and then marketing. And why did you choose that route as well? Why didn't you raise money? What was the thought?
For a couple of reasons. When you, and I will try to explain it with a little bit, it could be, I hope that I will be coherent also to beginners' ears, what's it called. But when you go to raise capital, usually what you're trying to pitch to investors, and Tel Aviv is only second to the Silicon Valley in terms of venture capital investments. So
Really?
it's a very strong, it's a very strong scene in here.
I didn't know that. I read a book about entrepreneurship, tech entrepreneurship in Israel, but I didn't, what was the name of that book? I read it maybe like 3 or 4 years ago. But anyway, go ahead. I didn't know.
Probably Startup Nation. So
right, that's it. That was it.
When you are choosing to, when you're choosing to go with venture capital, usually, and you pitch to investors, and I know it because investors like pitched DSM Tool to them, and they kept telling me the same thing. Like, if you're building a software for each, a piece of software that sits on one marketplace, it's not interesting enough it's not going to be $1 billion company. You can make nice profits from it. You can build, we've built it to up to 35 people, and we're still 10 people today, but it's not an ecosystem. What VC backed, it's called VC backed, venture capital backed startups that raise capital do, in many cases, is they build a platform. There are two options. One option is all of the, let's call it cybersecurity kind of companies. They build a very specific product, but that has a really high value. And then that's one story. But generally speaking, let's say e-commerce platforms, they usually try to build an entire ecosystem around their platform. And a good example for it is, you might have heard of Elementor. It's a plugin for WordPress that is no, actually it's not a good example. A better example would be Yotpo. Yotpo is a company that started by developing a review system for Shopify websites that looks just like the Amazon review system, but on top of that, they've built around it so many things that you have today professionals that all they do is they provide services that are all based on you build a profession out of it. You build an entire ecosystem with professional people that work on your software, that knows how to integrate it to other services. It's like things are in such higher scale when your customers, when you aim your customers to be Apple and Google, and you develop technologies for these kind of companies, you're going to need a really big bag of cash in your bag in order to finance all of that. When you're building a software that is specifically made for the dropshipping community, and we've built a software that is today we're trying to build it into the entire dropshipping for it to be relevant to raise capital for that.
Right. Okay. Where do you see? You touched on it a little bit, but where do you see DSM Tools go? Give me 1 second. All right, so hopefully we can do another video soon, but where do you see DSM Tool going? Like, what's the plan? Do you start with eBay, you're now on Shopify, and I didn't know you guys were on Shopify because it's been a while since I took a deeper look at the software. So I would actually do a couple of videos.
Also, didn't complete launch yet. It's there, it's working, everything, but it's like it's still in an MVP stage. It's not maybe.
So what's the plan? What's the plan moving forward?
The plan is to provide, look, the problem that we've realized over the years that people are looking for, when we just started, people only needed automation. But the further it went, we've realized, and together with all of eBay's policies, eBay is not a big fan anymore of marketplace dropshipping, so sourcing products from Amazon and selling them on eBay. People still do it. It's a nice way to get started, but it's definitely not going to be your business for a very, very long time and nothing that you can scale up. And because we understand it, first, we've developed an entire, like something that we didn't do before and we've developed in the past couple of months is a product education that is to a level that is really, really good for people that only want to get started, because there are less and less courses about how to specifically get started with eBay dropshipping and using a software, yada, yada, yada. The market has shrunk a little bit. And then on top of that, because we are now much more understanding the needs of dropshippers in general, no matter where they're dropshipping on, it's not anymore only about eBay. It wasn't only about eBay to begin with, but today we have so much more experience in software development and solution giving, and we're connected to so many different suppliers that if today you're able to source millions of products from 50 different websites for eBay and Shopify dropshipping using DSM Tool, like our role is to continue providing the best products for dropshipping for people. This is what we do. This is what the software is eventually all about product sourcing. And we've learned that in everything around is great, but the product must be such a badass product to sell. This is the one thing that people eventually looking for, what to sell.
Yeah.
And because we're a platform that has 50 different websites that you can source products from, our next steps are to further, like part of our services, for example, we have a service where when customer has better in China that will reduce the price dramatically and will increase their profit margin, which we provide only to exclusive sellers who has done a little bit more progress with the software, not like to beginners. Usually when I go on YouTube channels, I pitch to the beginners because, this is the audience that usually would get started and runs our company. We need traffic. This is why I'm going on so many, as much as I can on social media. But once you get started in the e-commerce journey, then as far as we can provide you services and things for you to do and work with partners, like, maybe one day working with your agency to provide all kind of services, then we would do that. And let me be clear about it, and we're not hiding it. We would look for business models that are based on that. I mean, if we at some point partner with, because you start as a software and you start just using a software, but now you have a business and your business needs services. And I know that you have the business, and I even know how well you are performing because your store is managed in my software, right? So this is the point where we're starting to. This is what I mean. Also today, DSM Tool, the software that I'm publishing, that I'm talking about all the time. This is one channel of income. We develop multiple channels of income for the same reason that you, the person that is starting using DSM Tool and starting your own business, the first thing that you would hear from me after a week, after you made your first sale, is go and learn how to make more income channels. Go and further understand the world of e-commerce. Start providing, I tell people, like, go become a mentor, start providing free lessons, provide lessons, and just use the DSM Tool affiliate program or other software's affiliate program, no matter. Whatever, make your income and create it as spread as possible. The same way as they say in stock market, have different stocks in order to spread the risk. They put money into development of the DSM Tool software, into marketing of the DSM Tool software. I just like in the stock market expect a return on my investment and spread it over multiple channels that will create a return on the investment, which means to actually create income for my company.
Wow, dude. We definitely need to do this more often, because I don't I used to interact with the dudes from Price Box, I think. We used to have like private calls. And I think a lot of the viewers on YouTube could learn a lot from our experience. And not many people like yourself are willing to not just show people how to drop ship, but open up and explain how you are taking advantage of different opportunities and building multiple streams of income. And that open and honest about it, right? Because a lot of internet marketers would give you like just enough to like buy your product, right? And like we offer the Amazon done for you service. I talk about why we do it, why it is possible, and what it takes to do it. Because like if there's someone else doing it better than me, or if there's someone that offers something better, you should make money, right? And like
Yeah.
it's refreshing to have a conversation with you and I think we both understand that who adds the most value and markets better would win. And that's all it is, right? Like
All right,
it's
so
not
I'll
like
tell you what.
yeah.
If there will be enough comments on this video, I promise to give a class in whatever subject you choose in one of your inner circles, groups, anything that you would create later on. And I'm doing it and I'm promising it live on this call, and people that would listen to this video would hear it, because this is how we do business, because I want to promote whatever service it is that you're going to give, because when people would subscribe to it, I want the here I promise that I don't know what will the subject, but let's choose a subject and I will prepare a university level lesson if as much as I can, with my knowledge in digital marketing, business making, whatever, not just eBay dropshipping, which is the easy part. Let's talk about the more advanced stuff.
Okay, yeah, like we definitely need, so guys, okay, I've gotten to 20, let's get to 30 comments. So once we get to 30 comments, okay, that's good? You're breaking up.
Yeah, for sure. It's your channel.
So guys, comment on the video. Let us know what you think about it. If we wasted your time, you could say, fuck you, Mark, you wasted my time. But I don't think anyone that says that definitely has nothing to do as a beginner. But I think that these conversations that we have moving forward are needed, and there's a lot of value that you could get from an actual CEO of a software company that did not raise money and did not have a ton of money to start with. It's invaluable, dude. But I thank you for your time. What time is it where you are?
8:24 p.m.
Okay, so your day is pretty done. So thanks for your time, dude. Listen,
I just want to say one last thing. At the comments, we want to get to 30 comments. So when you ask for comments, the best practice in digital marketing is to engage and say what you want to hear. So what I want people to comment with is what is the action that they're going to take tomorrow morning to take them one step further, no matter where they are. If they didn't make their first sale, maybe it's like, I don't know, regular tasks in order to get one step further.
And you're not going for the Lamborghini tomorrow, guys. You're making it one step further, and let us know what it is. And in the description, guys, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll put a link to the blog post that we talked about earlier in the video. I'll put a link to the DSM Tools YouTube channel. I will put a link to, I watched a couple of videos last night when we started talking about doing the videos. You have a couple instructional videos. I'll put links to that, and I'll put a link to the free trial for DSM Tool. Okay?
Perfect.
Thanks for your time, guys. I feel honored that we could have this conversation, and I hope that we're both locked down, so I hope we could do more videos in the next coming weeks.
I had a lot of fun, Mark. I would love to come again on the channel.
Okay, cool. Have a good one. Have a good one, guys. Like the channel, like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment on what you plan to do tomorrow to just take one step further in your business life, one step further to get you closer to the goal. Whereas, whether it's the first sale, whether it's listing 20 things a day, whether it is doing more research, whether it's doing the DSM tool training and getting the free trial, let us know what you plan to do. We get to the 30 comments, and have a good one, guys. Make that money, be safe, take care, family. Have a good one, guys. Bye.